Was there ever even a thought that they would be letting biological men into a sorority when you pledged Kappa?
I was pledged into the sorority in fall of 2020. And at that time, we were assured that there was no open process for those that are not biologically female. And so I would not have joined the sorority to begin with if I knew that this is what it was going to come to.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, do any of you, I'm looking at the 7 of you, do any of you live in the Kappa Kappa Gamma house? Raise your hand if you live in the house. Oh, okay. So quite a few of you live in the house. So that can lead to, and did lead to some very awkward and uncomfortable situations if you have a biological man there. That's just the truth of it. Even one who is trying to look female, never mind someone like this. So can you just expand, I'll go to you on this, Hannah, on this vote. So what happened was the more senior members of the sorority organized the vote to let this guy in without calling all the sisters there and saying, on Friday, we're having a vote on this backdoor applicant, be there. That didn't happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you weren't at that meeting that night, you didn't get a vote. And that's never how we've really done it. Jalen can talk more on the inside officer side of things. But as someone who had no idea it was happening to begin with, so we were caught off guard. That's just a scary situation. Then the comments made to us by the senior members were very scary and intimidating. And then when they were coming around, making sure you had voted after you had to put your email in the form, it was just a really scary, intimidating situation to be in.
And I just want to add saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
It is in our bylaws that every member is supposed to vote. And this just shows how we were shut down in this situation, because not all of us got to give our vote, and we were told to shut up. We were silenced in this situation. We were told we were not allowed to speak. We were not allowed to discuss our feelings. We just had to sit there and listen. And honestly, I just can't believe this ever happened.
Jalen, is that because they knew they didn't have the votes?
Yes, I think that's why we were all so shocked. And in the moment, we didn't say anything because we were silenced, and we were told that we were not allowed to say anything because girls got shamed if we had different opinions. And this opinion was forced upon us.
We were literally told, if you don't agree with this, if you don't like this, your values don't align with Kappa's and you should just leave. Wow.
Who was telling you that?
At the time, it was chapter leadership, but we've heard it from national leadership as well.
Can I just ask, for those of us who aren't that up to, but chapter leadership would be a woman who oversees from, it's not a college student.
It is a college student, yes. Yeah. It is one of our students that actually has a leadership position within within our sorority. And so that would include—
Is it Maya DeLauro? Is that who it is, Maya DeLauro?
She was not president at the time. And there has just been a lot of other things that happened. And the situation has changed because we had recent elections. And it was more of the past leadership that we had more of the issues with. And it was just really hard because it seemed like people were utilizing their power within the chapter in order to further their own agenda.
And what we've seen too, Megyn, is a shift. I mean, you have these individuals at the high levels of the fraternal organization at headquarters pushing a woke agenda onto a group of young women, when they in fact do not go home every night to a strange man in their home that's 6'2" and over 250 pounds, yet they projected this onto these girls to have to live with every single day.
Oh my God. I mean, it must have been so incredibly uncomfortable. And so how many of the senior leadership girls within the sorority would you say were pressuring the girls to vote yes, to let this guy in?
I would say that our senior leadership was the driving force, but it was all because our Kappa national headquarters was telling them what to say and how to act. And they were giving them the advice and encouraging them to say that we were not aligning with Kappa's values. And Kappa headquarters was not answering us themselves. We emailed, texted, and we did not hear a response back. When this leadership told us that if we were uncomfortable, we were to reach out to them and that they would help us feel comfortable and make us a safe place. And instead, we were just blatantly ignored.
Their phone lines were actually shut off for 3 days.
You're lucky you weren't told to go to therapy, like the women who objected on the UPenn swim team to Leah Thomas swimming with the women, right? I mean, that's really the next step in this whole drama in most instances in which women find their voices. They're told that they're nuts And what they really need is a therapist as opposed to their, reality-based perceptions of life. So, okay, so he gets in. And you point out the vote was supposed to be anonymous, but it wasn't because they made you enter your emails. And they're telling you if you vote no, you're a bigot. You're a bigot if you vote no and you don't align with Kappa's values. So can somebody walk me through when you found out he got in? Talk me through that moment. What was that like?
Honestly, it was just extreme disappointment, and it felt like our values and our concerns were not valued over someone else's. It felt like our voices didn't matter, and that's why I'm here today, because I want to stand up for women's spaces, and this is the women's right fight for our generation, and I want to make that very clear for past, present, and future members of sororities, because sororities go so beyond your college experience. After we graduate, we get to become alumni, and as alumni, we stay connected and we have this outreach. So this is so much more important than just an organization that we're part of in college. And that's why I'm here today, to advocate for the future generation of girls behind me as well.
Yes, Jalen, right on all of you. I know it's hard, but let me encourage you in what you're doing here and in other areas of your life. Taking great risks is a great thing, male or female, and it leads, whether it works out or it doesn't, to resilience and greater strength. And this is the women's rights issue of your time. You're right. And if you guys don't lead it, like the Riley Gaines way, who will, right? I mean, I'll help, but it's much more persuasive coming from people who have been actually subjected to the negative consequences of this woke ideology being thrust down your throats in the name of tolerance. Tolerance for everyone except you. Tolerance for the biological men, but not you, not the biological women. It's absurd. So let's get into some of the allegations that are in the complaint about what he then did, because this would have been bad enough. I'm sure Carrie would have represented you from this point forward. But once Cassie, once Artemis got into the sorority, his behavior started to really shock and offend. So it wasn't just like somebody trying to blend in and get along. It was somebody who was clearly getting off on the fact that he was immersed among all these beautiful girls. Who can give me some examples of that?
Megyn, I think the fundamental point, which is addressed in our lawsuit by detailing some of those salacious allegations, is the fact that being a woman is about more than a pronoun and putting on lipstick. There are real biological impacts at play. And that's why this case is so important. And I think I speak for all these young ladies. This isn't even just about a safe space. Being in a sorority is about protecting this organization that they love. It's about a womanhood experience, and that is fundamentally rooted in biology. You can't just ignore that. We can't just go with the flow and engage in this individual's delusion. It's not our responsibility, and it's certainly not why these young women signed up for this organization. And so that's what they seek to protect. It's not just standing up for women everywhere and their rights to have safe spaces like bathrooms. It's their entitlement to a womanhood experience, which you and I both know is not just gained one day because you say it so. We've got 18 plus years of cumulative experience of what it's like to purchase a bra and go through menstruation and grow up being a young woman. And this individual will never have that experience, and we're not required legally to indulge that.
I know many of you make money freelancing or running a solo small business. You probably love the flexibility and control, but hate the crushing busy work, right? You could hire a bunch of different people like a CPA, bookkeeper, even an attorney, and end up paying thousands of dollars a month, or you could use Collective. Now listen to this. Collective is the all-in-one financial solution for freelancers, contractors, and self-employed entrepreneurs. Collective handles all of your corporate formation and compliance paperwork, taxes, bookkeeping, accounting, even your payroll. It's the perfect marriage of technology and human tax and accounting experts. If you've already made money this year but don't have an S-Corp election, right now, through June 30th, Collective can save you thousands on taxes in 2023 because they're able to backdate your S-Corp election to January 1st. In fact, Collective members save on average $10,000 per year on their taxes. Act now, before June 30th, to save potentially thousands of dollars in your 2023 taxes. Go to collective.com to save on taxes this year and have someone who knows what they're doing handle your setup, accounting, and bookkeeping and taxes, even your personal taxes. That's collective.com, and tell them Megyn sent me. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.